When you out here doing business, either you're a business owner or you're a person collaborating with a business, say you're an influencer and a business reaches out to you and stuff. There are ways to tell if a business actually values you. And that can be with anything in negotiations. Hey y'all, I'm Brian Porter. I am a lawyer, legal writer, and contract expert. Negotiations are so important because when you're negotiating with someone, it's literally your values versus their values. And the goal is to get the values to align, right? So when you're negotiating, it's easy to tell if the other party doesn't value you. And there are ways to tell that. I could say probably about three ways to tell that. The first way would be if someone says the words, "Oh, you're asking for too much." When people say those words to you, you need to hightail it and run. Because even if you are asking for too much, there is usually a business will usually tell you, they will say, "Oh, we can't do that because of reason." And hopefully they should give you a reason. If they're not transparent about their reason, then they do not value you that much. And this a good example is if you're applying for a job and you ask for, let's say, 150K, right? And the job is like, "Well, we could only give you 70K." They're being very transparent and they're letting that they probably can't do that. And these are the reasons why. If they say, "Oh, we can't do that," and don't really give you a counter offer, they probably don't value you and they were probably undervaluing you from the beginning. Another way to tell if the other party doesn't value you in negotiations is that they're unwilling to negotiate. Normally, parties that are unwilling to negotiate, they need to have a good reason because in contracts and negotiation, a no isn't really a no without a good reason. Sometimes the only parties I know of to not negotiate is probably the federal government. So if you ain't the federal government, you better have a good reason why you can't change these terms around. Because even if a company has a uniform contract for people, there really isn't a reason as to why each person won't have a different contract. And the final way to tell if a business is undervaluing you in negotiations is if that the dynamics of the negotiation are very lopsided. So this means that the contracting party, the party that probably reached out to you, is giving you a one-sided contract and they're not willing to change that. They're taking advantage of you. A good example of this is TV shows, radio shows, Zeus Network, Wow TV, shit, BET. They give people, especially like Love and Hip Hop, if you look at their contracts are actually very lopsided. Um, they don't own a lot of rights to the things they create. And hopefully, you're praying that the money they give you is enough to compensate for all the things that they are taking away from you. And if they're not willing to do that, then they really don't value you. Or if much as they're just trying to take advantage of you.